Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading for the week of December 29th. You have this laughter card. It says emotional release, joy, and connection. You have this conversation card. It says subconscious knowledge and relationships. So could be a happy week for you at this time. But let's find out first. I want to make sure that you don't get a bunch of sad cards like this one right here before we say that. But anyway, could be a very happy week for you in general. It does seem to be like a very social week for you, just like even in your astrology this week. So, and I would say the end and the beginning of the year in general. So maybe you're turning into a little bit of a party animal here at the end of the year, which is great. I highly support it and think that we need more happiness in the world. So if that's what you're doing, go for it. I think it's great. You start with the Nine of Pentacles, the Three of Wands, and the Three of Swords. Nine of Pentacles is like, practicing gratitude. I think the Nine of Pentacles is a good energy for being grateful for what you want or what you want to create. And, that's, I think, getting into the energy of gratitude is what I would do here. It is a card of independence. Again, we did just say that you're going to be socializing more, but again, you can still be independent and socialize, right, at the same time. So you can be personally independent and still like to hang out with other people, which I think is also great. I do feel you are probably more focused on turning your finances around. I mean, you do have the Wheel of Fortune and the King of Pentacles right here, which is you. This, to me, looks like you are taking control of your financial destiny. I think that's what the reading is talking about in general for you here, Taurus. As always, I think that it's going to require you to do something different or to do something I don't think you're scared of something at all. Like, don't take this the wrong way here, Taurus. It's not like really fear, but I just think there are things you just haven't done before, and those are the things you should be doing, right? Because I think, especially if you're trying to do something to expand your finances with the Three of Wands, you have the Two of Wands right next to it. Number one, the Three of Wands kind of says, what are you waiting for? The Two of Wands wants you to get out into the world and, go explore new ways of doing things and things like that. We'll talk about it in a minute. But, I do feel that, evolving what you're working on could be the other thing as well. I'm pretty sure this year I said something to you. I'm pretty sure it was you, Taurus, but, it's like the best way I can describe the energy that I get for you financially is it's like, imagine if you grew up and you always wanted to be on the radio. The radio is basically dead. No one listens to the radio anymore, right? But you could start a podcast. You could start your own YouTube channel, right? Basically doing the same thing. It's just an evolved version. It's just different, right? And I feel like that's what Taurus, did I call you Virgo? Sorry. Sorry if I called you Virgo. I don't know. That just popped into my head. But Taurus, I think that, again, whatever that evolved version of your thing is going to be the thing that causes expansion. I just think something, and, I also feel that this is for those of you that have been trying to grow or evolve. You just haven't figured it out yet, but I do think you are very close. You have the Three of Swords. Yeah, still a pretty good reading. I don't feel bad about this at all. I think it's a great time for healing for you just in general. The end of the year is great for healing, but you are an Earth sign. We still have the South Node in Virgo. I also wonder about Uranus and Taurus. Uranus is getting to the end of Taurus. It is at the end of Taurus, basically, and, we'll move back into Gemini in April and won't return to your sign in your lifetime ever again. And, I don't know. I just think there could be something about healing with that energy, or you could be healing things from like the beginning of Uranus and Taurus, or I would go back a little bit further. I would say maybe since like 2012. You could be healing some things that you've been through. This could also be saying like now is your chance to heal something. So if there is something that needs to be healed in your life, like now would be the time to do it. With that Three of Swords. Three of Swords is always temporary as well, so if you are, I do feel like some of you could be dealing with a heartbreak, and, again, if you are, Three of Swords is temporary. Let's see. With the Nine of Pentacles, can't make this up. You have the Seven of Swords. Everybody and their mother is going to get the Seven of Swords until 2033, somewhere around there. That's when Uranus leaves Gemini. And, it'll actually leave Gemini in 2032, but it's only for a very short period of time before it retrogrades back into Gemini in 2032. But what I would say here is that the Seven of Swords wants us to do things in a different way. Uranus in Gemini, wants us to do things in a different way. It wants us to try new things and experiment and be a rebel and go against the grain. And those are all things that the Seven of Swords could do. So, there you go. With the Three of Wands, you have the Nine of Cups. Ooh, look at that. Definitely some sort of wish or wish fulfillment coming in for you here. Again, this reading is very independent as usual. I think, like, other than Sagittarius, you are like the number one sign that always gets these readings that are all about you, Taurus. Like, no other sign, gets these readings that are like just only about them. So that should make you feel very special, Taurus. And, again, the Nine of Cups is about personal fulfillment. It's about, with the Three of Wands and the Two of Wands, it's like saying, what are you waiting for? You should be fulfilled. You should be doing more things for yourself. You should be doing more things that, fulfill you and bring you happiness and laughter and joy and everything that card said. So, that's what I would be focusing on. The Nine of Cups, I think people have it backwards with the Nine of Cups. We don't just get a wish with the Nine of Cups. We just have to be in alignment. Then we don't even have to worry about the wish. Because, if we're in alignment, we just get the things we would wish for anyway. And I would get into alignment with the Nine of Cups, as in, create an environment of success around you. Focus on happiness. Focus on doing things that bring you fulfillment. And that's all you have to do. With the Three of Swords, you have the Wheel of Fortune again. I would say there is like a little bit of something going on that could bring back a person from the past just to piss you off. So don't, right? Especially if you have a person that that it will piss you off, then I would, block or do whatever you can to make sure that doesn't happen. I also do feel good about this Wheel of Fortune in this reading, though, because plain and simple, I feel like this reading is about you taking control of your financial destiny. That's, the best way I could put it. And, again, is this going to be, are you going to be a millionaire overnight? Probably not, but definitely going to be very good for you. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this retirement card. It says, working hard can be a thing of the past. Damn. You had this card with me or something very, very similar. I'm pretty sure. Maybe not in the last reading, but the one before that. You have this denial card. It says, are you refusing to face reality about some aspect of your financial life? Yes. So anything that you need to face, I would face it. I would, really do things to take control of your finances, like this year, 2026 I'm talking about. Like I would pick something like a habit to develop. I'm pretty sure I said this to you as well in your 2025 reading. Now that I'm saying it, I'm having deja vu, which usually means I probably said this to you. Like, because I think I remember saying something about how even if it was something like you just save $5 a week, that might not sound great. That might not sound like it would matter or whatever. But, it's like sometimes I think people don't realize, how powerful those like little habits, even if it's just $5 a week or something like that, how it can turn into something much bigger. Because it's like sometimes you start saving $5 a week and then you're like, I could probably up this to 10. And, before you know it, you'll be up to like, I don't know, like $1,000 a week or something like that. So, again, sometimes these small habits turn into something bigger. But, I think that denial card is saying, I actually don't feel bad about that card at all. I think it's saying like pick a habit or, go learn something about your finances. You have the World, the Two of Wands, and the Four of Swords. The World, of course, is an accomplishment or a big achievement coming in for you. So there could be some sort of accomplishment or achievement coming in for you at this time. You also show up right here, Taurus. So whenever you show up as yourself, kind of puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading. So you are showing up in a strong position. With the two nines, I would be working on creating your own world here, Taurus. Nine of Pentacles is a card of your environment. The Nine of Cups is the energy that you are in. So when we have those two cards in the world, it basically says you can create your own reality around you. And I would do whatever you can to make that happen. It's like, how can you fill your head with more good stuff? How, the things you watch on TV, how can you make sure that those are positive things that are feeding your brain? What habits can you develop? What things can you go and do, right? I would be thinking about all that with the world. You have the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is about taking the lead in the world, right? He has the world in his hands right here. So, again, a lot of you could be doing things to take the lead, whether you realize it or not. And, that could be a good thing. He also has to go experience variety. I think that one of the best things we can do with Uranus and Gemini, especially because it's the sign after you, is inputs. I look at Uranus in Gemini as needing to give yourself as many options as you can. It's almost like, I think it would be good if we all looked at ourselves like a funnel, right? Where it's like we take in information into the top of our head and we process it, we learn about it, we educate ourselves on it, we experiment with the things we're learning, and then we become more, we funnel it down into something concentrated, something very specific. And I know that's a very general message, but it literally goes for every single area of your life. And I think the people, where I'm trying to go with this is that we have to have experiences to get that information. We have to get into the world, right? And we also have to be open to like basically everything. So, and it's like not a good time to necessarily pick favorites, right? I think it's a good time to like stay open. If like you're trying to learn something about business, go learn from like 5 people and, just see what works first, and then go from there. And, that's what I would do with that card. You have the 4 Swords. Yeah, resting, relaxing, recovering. Some of you definitely could be healing from this 3 of Swords. Again, 4 Swords is a pretty good card to get after the 3 of Swords. It would say that you're healing or you're moving forward, so I like to see that. With the World, you have the 6 of Swords. 6 of Swords moving on to calmer shores, heading towards improvements, so definitely could be some major improvements coming in for you here. With the 2 of Wands, you have the 10 of Cups. Yes, 10 of Cups, they have this dream above their heads. They are looking up. They are celebrating those 10 Cups. I like the 10 of Cups, but the problem with the 10 of Cups is it says don't get high on your own supply. Basically, don't just live the dream in your head. You have to, bring it down, right? And that's what I would be making sure that you're making moves, especially at the end of, I would start now at the end of the year, and I would continue through the rest of the year. And because again, I think this could be a year that could surprise you, 2026, if you put the work in. With the 4 of Swords, you have the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is about seeing clearly for the first time. She only has clouds halfway up her body here, and she's looking forward into the future, and she is seeing clearly for the first time. So I feel there could be a lot of clarity coming in for you with the Queen of Swords, which is great. Especially if you have been hurt. The good news here is that she has her back to the past, and she is looking into the future. So again, you could be clear for the first time, which is great. Next, in the area of what's coming, messages from your future self, you have this square card. It says tension. You have this sun card. It says source on it. I kind of feel that tension actually is kind of a good thing this year, even though this says squares. It's kind of like I get a lot of questions, about astrology and things like that, and people will say to me, I have all these squares in my chart. Am I screwed? And stuff like that. I'm like, well, actually, if you look at some of the most successful people on Earth, they have a lot of squares in their chart. It's like the tension actually creates success. And again, I always say astrology, tarot, it's not good or bad. It's how you work with it, right? And so you could be feeling tension. You could be feeling this tense energy. We do have some squares going on, so you could be feeling it, but it's like how you use it that is important. And, I would make sure, I think it's a good year to face challenges head on, and I think if you do that, good things can happen. You have the High Priestess, the Wheel of Fortune, and the King of Pentacles. Yeah, very intuitive time, so I feel that we should all be really tapping into that intuition. I always say Neptune will be moving into Aries on the 26th of January. I think that intuitively it's going to be, we will have more of those like first gut instinct intuitions, like that very first thing that you feel about anything in your life. That's what we should be maybe listening to. So I would trust your gut moving forward for years to come. You have the Wheel of Fortune. Again, I think you're trying to change your financial destiny here. The Wheel of Fortune is pretty simple. It says that all we have to do is, the wheel spins in both directions. We have to pay attention to what's working, and we should double down on what's working. And when a challenge comes up, we should face it head on right away and take care of it as quickly as possible. And if you do that, then more good things will happen. And that's pretty much what I would do with the Wheel of Fortune here. I do feel pretty good about the Wheel of Fortune, like I said. It seems to me like you're learning a lot. These are the 4 fixed signs, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo down here, and they all have books that they're holding on to. So we see a lot of learning and education in your reading, and if you do more to educate yourself, good things will happen. Talking about fear earlier, we have this snake right here. Snakes are guardians of portals, and this is a portal. The circle cards in the tarot are portal cards. You have 2. You have you have 3 technically. You have the Wheel of Fortune twice in the world, and so if there's something you want that you don't have yet, there could be some sort of fear that you have to face. And again, I always say these aren't like big fears. They're not, just like those little places in life where we hold ourselves back. That's what we have to face with the Wheel of Fortune, and that's what I would do there. You have the King of Pentacles, you showing up. Like I said, this reading's all about you, Taurus. So there you go. The King of Pentacles is a great card. It's a card of wealth building, a card of security. He has these grapes on his cloak, and the grapes in the tarot represent having a specific skill. And, grapes in the tarot represent something that's hard to grow, but he can do it well. So it basically says you have a skill that other people maybe struggle with or can't do, but you can do it well. And you have to use those skills for success. And I definitely would with the King of Pentacles. I would experiment a little bit more. I don't necessarily think that King of Pentacles is a bad card, but he can get stuck in convention. He can get, basically stuck doing things the same way for too long. And again, Uranus and Gemini, it's going to be in your second house. I would definitely be paying attention to it. Even if you're not a second house Gemini, Taurus, doesn't matter. And what I would say here is I would be innovating in your financial life because, again, looks to me like you're taking control of your financial destiny. With the High Priestess, you have the Judgment card. Definitely would be trusting that intuition of yours. This is your higher self angel, and the High Priestess can be definitely a card of downloading messages or downloading information. And so it's like your higher self is trying to get you to step into a new life. These people are standing in these coffins. The coffin represents their old life. Outside the coffin is their new life. And so your higher self is encouraging you to do new things or to do something new in your life. And that is exactly what I would do with the Judgment card. It'll lead to the most success. Also, again, I do think Uranus and Gemini, we will, pretty much everyone will be downloading a lot of information. I think it's more like, imagine if information is like going through your head, it's like coming in very quickly. That's how I see Uranus and Gemini. It's like we could have a lot of ideas. The problem is if we don't capture those ideas, because it's just going to be like in one ear, out the other very quickly. So I would be really taking time to like meditate, record your ideas. If you have an idea or a random inspiration, at least write it down, because then you won't lose it. And I would make sure to do that. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the 4 Pentacles. I just think it's time to change, really. I mean, 4 Pentacles, sometimes with the 4 Pentacles, I think we can, it kind of is a symbol that we are at a point in our life where we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's like I feel like you finally have been pushed to that point, Taurus. That's not traditionally what this card means, but again, I read intuitively, so that is the message I'm getting, that you are like sick and tired of being sick and tired. I think you're ready for a change, and the Wheel of Fortune is a great card for making that change or doing something different with your life. So just in general, I feel pretty good about that. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Two of Pentacles. Yeah, time to move, basically. King of Pentacles is just sitting down. He's not really doing anything. He's kind of a boss, so does he need to move? Not really, if he has people doing work for him, but, I kind of feel this is saying, like, you have a lot of ideas, you know what to do next in your life, and now it's time to, like, put in the work. Two of Pentacles is like work hard, play hard. I do think 2026 is a much harder work year than 2025. But one thing I would say is it's perfectly fine to work hard as, number one, as long as you're getting back what you're putting in, at least. So, pay attention to that. But also, it's fine to work hard if you're doing something else to recharge your batteries. Like, pretty much everyone, I've said to everyone, basically, that, that we need to have something this year that we, like, go and do. Meditate, go for a walk, do a hobby, something like that. Because it just seems to me like it's an important year for people to recharge their batteries. Next in the area of the good stuff, you have this card. It says, what do you need to release? You also have this card. It says, have faith in your dreams. Yeah, the whole entire reading kind of is encouraging you to have faith in like some sort of dream or something you're trying to create or work on. So I definitely would focus on that. There's also a little bit of releasing here with that Three of Swords. We kind of said it, Three of Swords to the Four of Swords. So anything you need to let go of, I would leave it in 2025. You have the Five of Swords, the Temperance card, and the Six of Wands. I feel pretty good about this Five of Swords. You know, Five of Swords and the good stuff is about taking a risk. It's like on the Two of Wands. You know, the guy has the wand behind him. He's reaching forward, grabbing onto the wand in front of him. The trick with the Two of Wands is that he has to move away from that wand behind him. The wand behind him basically says something in his life is complete. You know, that's what the Two of Wands says, is that he has completed one thing, he's moving on to the next thing. But he might feel like he needs to like hold on to both things a little bit. You know, he might feel in that in-between time, like if you're building something new, if you're starting something new, if you're creating a new life, when you're in that in-between time, it can feel a little unstable. And but I feel pretty good about the Five of Swords because I feel like it's saying that you are entering into the in-between time and you're taking the risk. So it's like you are moving towards that new wish, goal, dream, whatever. You have the Temperance card again. Time is now. Two of Wands, Three of Wands. What are you waiting for, right? Temperance, I feel the same way sometimes. He's trying to turn water into wine, but he has this path behind him. This is the path to glory. There's this glowing crown right here. He could easily go claim his crown. You know, he could easily go have a success or, you know, create a success he's hoping to create. So I kind of just feel this is saying like the time is now. Time for you to get moving towards a dream, a goal, a wish, you know, whatever it is that you're trying to create. You have the Six of Wands. Six of Wands is a card of victory or a big success coming in for you. So yes, definitely could be a victory. I think you should be trying to get noticed more here, Taurus, this year. Like I would focus on that. I would focus on, you know, doing things that make you stand out, which could be a little scary for sure. But I definitely feel, you know, especially once we get to like April, you know, doing things that make you stick out is going to be something that helps you the most. He has earned his right to be on his high horse. That's the whole point of the Six of Wands. Like he is sitting on his high horse. He's being celebrated by the people around him, but he's also earned it. So I think you need to pat yourself on the back here. You know, the whole point of the Nine of Pentacles is gratitude. And again, sometimes I think people will like have a success and they'll play it off like it's not a big deal, but it's like when you're doing that, you're kind of like downplaying something you accomplished. I think this is saying you need to celebrate yourself more here, Taurus, because, you know, it'll be good. With the Five of Swords, you have the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, this could be you taking a risk on a new opportunity for sure, Taurus, going this way. And, you know, the Ace of Pentacles is like a big opportunity that needs to be nurtured into existence. Ace of Pentacles has this garden right here. And so the Ace of Pentacles, we have to look at it like a plant that we're taking care of. We have to water it, feed it, fertilize it, give it sunlight. You know, we have to make sure it grows. So I think that the things you're working on, you're a Taurus, you are the sign of nurturing. So the more you nurture it, the better. With the Temperance card, you have the Ten of Swords. Yeah, it's almost like you are leaving the old Taurus in the past, is what the Ten of Swords is saying. You know, he kind of represents something being dead, done, over with. He's making this symbol right here with his hand that represents a blessing. So it could say that a new beginning is coming in for you that is going to be a blessing. You know, Ten of Swords can be a blessing in disguise. So definitely showing up in the good stuff, this could say that some sort of new beginning is going to lead to a blessing in disguise. With the Six of Wands, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, really happy to see the Knight of Pentacles in the good stuff. I don't really like the Knight of Pentacles because he's the only knight that isn't moving, and he represents needing to make a move. But showing up in the good stuff, the Knight of Pentacles is saying you are finally planting seeds in this field behind you. You are finally letting something grow in your life. And of course, that will be a good thing if you're, you know, working on a project. Even if you're working on yourself, you know, that would be a good thing. You have this ladder. It says climbing toward success. Love it. I also can see this mountain card. It says you're on the road to success. So, you know, clearly you could be kind of like, I don't think you're climbing a mountain, although I always encourage people to climb mountains. And sorry, it felt like something was crawling on me. There was nothing there. But anyway, someone's here visiting. But what I would say with this card is, you know, again, you could be putting in the work to accomplish something great. You have this rainbow. It says the most difficult part of a situation is over. Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is like a blessing as well. Ten of Cups can be fortune after difficulty. And there is a rainbow above their heads. So, I think a lot of you could be experiencing fortune after difficulty. You have this mountain road. It says you're on the road to success. Yeah, definitely keep pushing here, Taurus. I think you're getting closer and closer and closer to something that you want. You have this dagger. It says fears, worries, tense situation. I kind of feel this is what you have to get over in a lot of ways. I feel that, it's like, it's popping into my head as like feeling like you're doing something wrong. Like, I hope that makes sense. That's what I feel here. It's like, I can't really explain it. I think that sometimes it's like imposter syndrome, where it's like if we are working on a project or something, if we don't feel like we're good enough, we feel like we're doing something wrong, right? And I feel this is saying like, there are things you can do to overcome that. And I would kind of like ignore it, plain and simple. You have this lion. It says time to act. Can't make that up. 2 of Wands, 3 of Wands. Basically says the time, and the Temperance card. It says the time is now. So time to make your move here, Taurus. But this looks amazing. Love it. Looks really good. So thank you for being here. Make sure to like, leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your week.